Yo, this is my video, Delray Beach. Why? After my children crashed on the weekend, the brake line on my car, I started working for the city of Delray Beach. They did not know I had worked in the summer when I was 16 for the government. The summer I was 17 for the government of Jamaica. I worked for the European Union. Also temp for the state and worked for the. Now, Delray Beach had some trouble with some Afghans because the United States was Afghanistan. Why they had this problem? Well, the Americans went down to my house in 1967, and I was 10 years old. I was attending an Anglican school for girls only, and studying French was first to go to Canada. The course were really about education and the future and empowerment from the age of 10. These guys are tribal and nomad, but Jamaican cleaners. I spent with some Muslims in Delray, and Delray also got a conflict with the Americans. What started with Delray Beach, they had a monetizing plan, a master plan to gentrification around Atlantic Avenue for tourism and hotel. And all the people were involved. Well, none of the pilots were in this by coincidence. My highest highs and my lowest lows Delray Beach. This is when I the city of Boca. This is false arrest. This police report because really they do a lot of robberies in Delray Beach. My passport, my laptop, my bicycles. Just really after they bullied me out of government, they really just kept peeling me. But I was pretty much in conflict because of Jamaicans are gleaners because we had Cambridge University in our high schools. I went to a prep school before elementary school, and because the European Union was putting money in credit unions for small business so that if people in Jamaica couldn't have a job, they could have a business because they were trying to make full employment in Jamaica, for which we thank the Queen. However, the problem with big money and the For the People's Act in Boca Raton, Delray Beach, and Boynton Beach is the developers. They send lunches to the staff of all these cities and they terrorize the people when they want to get their properties to demolish them and rebuild these 3,000 square foot townhomes. But in Jamaica, we do a lot of building for tourism hotels, but we have really rich people who Jamaica and build these hotels like Butch Church. No, my position is that a lot of people have had trouble in Delray Beach, but what I decided to do because my son was killed is to do these videos and become an activist because I want the truth to be told. And when I was 10, my empowerment was taken away by Jehovah's Witnesses. When she was 11, she became an activist for education for Muslim women. She was 11, she became an activist for women. She went to UN Women. I'm kind of late, but I understand why the Jehovah's Witnesses came to my house in 1967. Now, the outcome is that my family of gleaners, we have this gifted child and they have my gifted son. Well, this one ends up dead and this one ends up with a PhD in neurosurgery. That's my family. People don't know about gleaners. And I did meet somebody in Jupiter who knows about hunter-gatherers, and I asked Florida Atlantic University Anthropology Department about hunter-gatherers too. These people are tribal and nomad, but Khalid is very funny. He tries to spread peace because he's half white. Presently, we have the Chinese and the Taliban working together in 2022. They're helping to rebuild Afghanistan. 2023, the Chinese are with Saudi Arabia. So their core values are cooperation. The Chinese and Islam are cooperating. But my betrayal is with these Jehovah's Witnesses. They do not pay labor costs, and they have 23 billion in land and buildings all over the world, including my mother's neighborhood in Jamaica. They build these kingdom halls. They sold this property to Kushner's when Trump was in power for $340 million. See, that's monetizing a church. And this is the Chinese putting out COVID and build a hospital in 7 days. I think that the Trump Kushners were in a betrayal process over here with this Jehovah's Witnesses, just like the Chinese. The Jehovah's Witnesses are not hiding what they're doing. See, they sell all these buildings. And this is the transaction, the YouTube video with them purchasing the Jehovah's Witness property. But really, they degrade women so much, they don't even allow us to go to divorce court to protect our children. That's my son. I would like to acknowledge my son. I really didn't acknowledge until 22 years after he died that he was tested in a gifted program when he was 6 years old. I was never gifted. His father was never gifted. So somewhere along the way, the parents did not realize the value of this child. This was the house where he could have been safe if we had a chance to go to a judge. This is my son again. When he was 2 years old, I remember I had a pretty good job and he tried to talk to me. I just have some illustrations of degraded people because I've been degraded, defiled, and the degraded woman. Then I want to describe this overkill experience because after they cut the brake line on my car and killed my sons, they were on the properties. And I described that in another document, how they were putting leaks in the kitchen and damage to my car, and a friend had to repair my car. After I was bullied out of government in the city of Delray Beach, I went through a lot of attacks, a lot of robberies. Delray Beach is a rather peculiar kind of city. This man sold me a house. He and his big money friends built this shopping center in Delray Beach. He took out the DCF. It's a $8 million shopping center. Then it was worth 15. Now it's worth less because the United States lost Pier 1 Import, Steinmart, and Tuesday Morning. I asked FAU why conflict management is not a major. And then I said to myself, well, the African Americans are hunter-gatherers and the white people are hunter-gatherers. So I guess they think everybody's okay in the United States because the black are hunter-gatherers and the white are hunter-gatherers. But how the African Americans perpetrate is that, you see, in Africa, they were stalking other tribes and put them on the slave ships. That's what this is about. So I end up in two betrayals by the Jehovah's Witnesses who are trying to do real estate and property development, which amounted to 23 billion. Then I got a betrayal by being bullied out of my job at the city of Delray Beach. This is the library at the city of Delray Beach. You can imagine what the 9/11 pilots were doing there in the library. However, there was this cartel meeting of sheriffs. I was surprised when I saw it. And then they demolished the city of Boeing, the whole city hall, and spent $300 million. And there's that gold staircase at the library. And the Seacrest Boulevard, it looks obsolescent because it's such an ugly street. But now the people with big money, the same developers who terrorized Boca and Delray, are pushing to the beach. That's what this is about. When you lose your house and your government job, you go through a lot of degrading experiences. This is just one of mine. This really rude guy. I had the African American state trooper terrorizing me instead of my husband going to divorce court. So I tried to tell women That's how O.J. Simpson killed his wife. He didn't actually do it. These men worked together like gangs. This was my property. They were inside this here and put a leak in this kitchen. The state trooper brought a technology vehicle. These are the people at my job at the city of Delray Beach. She was there 37 years. She's a demolisher and he's a builder. To me, that's nepotism, but whatever. Worse is that I think she was involved in the accident of my children when I was coming to work at the city of Delray Beach. This girl bullied me out of the city. Her husband is a state registered sex offender. She lied. She wrote the documents that I was blackballing commissioners. And so we had a hearing with the city manager, and he said, I sent an attorney from Miami, and he said she should stay and I should leave. Okay. So, yeah, so here it is. They're pushing to the beach from the $3 million city hall. Developer. This is the girl. I don't know how she can face herself. I've been in government since I was 16. Although I studied business at FAU, I have a very good background. And we build hotels in Jamaica too. That's Rishi Sunak. The demolition by big money causes a lot of corruption. And that's why we need For the People Act to be enforced in every city. They keep building, even in the Depression. This lady complained to me that the 4 or 5 houses down the street, they were terrorized by the developer, and the city helped them by taking the sign down because they want the developer to take out those 4 older houses and put these lovely townhomes in. But Jamaica builds hotels. I don't know why they have to be so corrupt. This is Boca Raton. A lady put up a banner because Lanzo Construction was terrorizing her. It's a horrible neighborhood. It's not even near the beach. But every city is having this happening. That's why we are desperate for the People's Act. This is Rishi Sunak's administration. The energy minister said you have to have independent advisory boards. I think that's the only way that if the Senate and the House of Representatives passes For the People's Act, you have to have independent advisory boards to enforce them in every city. This is just more of the European Union. Now, the African-American state trooper who was helping my ex-husband, they act like gangs. One was ticketing me and taking my Honda. The other one brought the technology vehicle and he was on my property. And as Meghan Markle said at 11 years old, tell the right people. I'm trying to tell the right people what's going on. But the background of this kind of police gang activity is because they're hunter-gatherers. Now, after I had a false arrest, 6:45 a.m. they came near my job and the 2 sheriffs here are talking. This is 2022. Okay? That was a false arrest and I gave the lady my stuff. So I go from working in government to this kind of degradation. Okay? I have a lot of detail in here because I've been through a lot and I feel like I went to a Palm Beach County Court and that's not enough. This is a letter I wrote to the librarian at this Delray Beach Library about 5 bikes stolen and all that, stealing my passports, my wallet, different things just after being bullied out of my job. Okay. Now, they said I could file a petition at the OAS, but I see how they treat Donald Trump like a puppet and how they just arrest him. And I don't think that you can get any fair treatment in any court in the United States. I believe that they do have to file charges at The Hague, and there's countries that want to file charges at The Hague. And we wholeheartedly want to get all the countries involved to get them charged in a court where we can sustain truth and justice.